Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard Mackenzie Dern is back with a bang, displaying her improved skill set in an uber-dominant victory against the tough as $2 steak Angela Overkill Hill. Dern's performance was a strong message to the UFC strawweight division. She won't back down until she gets her hands on gold, and she's going to blow away every obstacle in her way. What's next for Mackenzie Dern and the other winners at UFC Vegas 73, like Anthony Hernandez, Joaquin Buckley, Lupita Godinez, among others? Let's find out. Perennial lightweight contender Carlos Diego Ferreira bounced back into winning ways at UFC Vegas 73 in a thunderous fashion, knocking out Michael Johnson to take home the win and an extra $50,000. Prior to the fight, Ferreira was in a bit of a pickle with 3 consecutive losses, 2 of them being to Benir Dariush and Matus Gamrot. He even had a tough first round against Johnson because obviously he was dealing with a degree of ring rust after a 2-year layoff. But with a piston of a right hand in the second round, Ferreira proved that he's well and truly back in the lightweight fold. The question is, who should he fight next? Drew Dober, that's who, an absolute veteran of the sport and a fighter through and through. Dober has fought the who's who of the lightweight division, but he's always fallen short when it truly mattered. Diego Ferreira is pretty much the same. He's exceptionally talented, but he has more often than not failed against the top guys in his division. A fight between the two would be a fun watch. Much like Diego Ferreira, Buckley was also in a tough spot, losing twice before facing Andre. And much like Diego Ferreira, he delivered big time. The fight was expected to be entertaining, and it was everything we thought it would be. Both Buckley and Andre traded big shots in the first round with back and forth action that gave fans tons of entertainment. As the second round played out, Buckley landed a sneaky head kick and dropped Andre, raining down heavy blows to his face to finish the job and scored a much needed victory. Having fought at the middleweight prior to his most recent fight, Buckley looked fantastic at welterweight, and there are tons of talented fighters who want to test his skill in the 170-pound division. Considering Buckley gets a ranked fighter next, he only has 2 options in truth: Michael Chiesa and Jack Daly. Some even mention Ian Gary, and although I think that's a fantastic fight, Gary will probably not be very interested. Although he's not ranked anymore, Daniel Rodriguez would be a great matchup as well. In fact, it would be a perfect matchup stylistically, since both fighters are heavy hitters, and a potential fight between the two definitely won't go the distance. It would be pure violence, and I think that's the way forward. Sean Shelby, if you're watching this video, you know what to do. Stepping up on short notice to face Emily Lupita Godinez made the most of her opportunity and impressed the UFC brass as well as fans with her educated striking to take home a unanimous decision victory. Godinez had the upper hand in the first 2 rounds, with her volume striking giving her the edge on the judges' scorecards. And although Ducote would make a strong comeback in the 3rd round, it wasn't enough for her to get the win on that night. Despite 2 impressive victories, Lupita Godinez is still far from breaking into the strawweight top 15, so she'll have to fight someone outside of the ranking. That someone, in my opinion, should be Sam Hughes. The reason why I'm saying Sam is because the 2 fighters have history. Godinez and Sam fought each other twice as amateurs, with their first fight ending in a split draw and the second one being won by Godinez by a comfortable unanimous decision. This was 5 years ago, and since then both fighters have improved quite a bit, but who has improved more? We need these 2 to lock horns in the UFC to find out. Now that we've covered the first 3 bouts on the main card, let's take a look at the co-main event between Anthony Hernandez and Adman Sabazian. Sabazian had a great UFC 282 outing. He snapped a 3-fight losing streak by knocking out his last opponent, and it was a big confident booster which he needed to come out of his shell and show the world what he's capable of. After UFC Vegas 73, however, he'll have to start from scratch yet again. Edmund is a wonderful striker. He's quick, he's sharp, and he has quite a lot of sting in his shots, but grappling and cardio are his Achilles heel, and he's lost all of his career fights because of them. Hernandez versus Edmund had a competitive first round, but the second and third round was completely one-sided, with Hernandez taking his opponent down and smashing him Habib style until the referee intervened and put Edmund out of his misery. Edmund has now lost 4 out of his last 5, but I'll discuss that on another day. Right now, Hernandez deserves the spotlight since he's won 4 in a row. He definitely needs to step up in competition like Chris Curtis or Brandon Allen. but I think Chris Curtis makes the most sense for Hernandez. Allen is on a 4-fight winning streak, so he won't be interested in fighting an unranked contender. Curtis' most recent loss to Kevin Gastelum, and he won't have a choice if the UFC tells him to sign the contract. On paper, it's a pretty good matchup between the two highly skilled grapplers, and we should expect a good fight. That ultimately brings us to the fight you've all been waiting for. Mackenzie Dern is back in the win column with a dominant victory against Angela Overkill Hill, and now wants to avenge her loss against a former foe. When the BJJ Wizard signed with the UFC, she was arguably one of the top signings and was thought to be a nightmare matchup for a strawweight division that is loaded with world-class strikers. So far, Dern has failed to fulfill her potential, and even after a big win against Hill, she'll have to get a win or two against someone in the top 5 to earn the title shot. The strawweight division is the most competitive women's division in the UFC, and pound for pound one of the most competitive ones in the promotion. So getting a title shot in this division is a big thing, and a dominant win against Hill certainly helped. Dern was on a different level. Her striking was on point, her takedowns were significantly better, and her mindfulness to win rounds certainly deserved a round of applause. If anything, 2 10-8 rounds across the 3 score sheets show just how good Dern was at the UFC Vegas 73, which means she deserves to step up in competition once again. If it was up to Dern, she'd like to fight Rose Namajunas in a potential title eliminator next, but the former 2-time champion is nowhere to be found. Dern would like a rematch with Yan Xiaonan, who's coming off an uber impressive TKO win against Jessica Andrade and deserves to fight for the title even now. The last time Dern and Yan fought, it was a close fight with the Chinese fighter edging out a majority decision. Having seen Dern show some incredible improvements to her game, I'll definitely love to see the rematch between the Brazilian and the Chinese counterpart. That's it from my side. Who do you guys think Mackenzie Dern, Anthony Hernandez, Lupita Godinez, Joaquin Buckley, and Carlos Ferreira should fight next? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so I can keep bringing you more stories from the world of mixed martial arts. And once again, I'll see you at the top. Peace.